All right, I'm Russell Payne, and this is The Vindicator, our candidate spotlights. We'll be talking with candidates in the race for mayor of Dayton. We'll have Andy Connor here with us, and we'll get to him in just a moment. Real quick rundown of election information for you. April the 20th through Tuesday, April the 28th is going to be early voting. You can vote at centers around Liberty County. If you need more information on that, visit votelibertycounty.com. Just a point of order, though, on April 21st, they will not have voting. It's going to be closed for San Jacinto Day. Election Day voting is 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. on Saturday, May the 2nd. And, you'll have plenty of time and opportunities to get out there and vote. With that said, Andy Connor, I open the floor to you to introduce yourself to folks.
Okay. I'm Andy Connor. I'm born and raised in Dayton, Texas. Lived all over the place, but I chose to come back here and chose to make Dayton my home. And I'm running for mayor because I think, I have no problem with what Dayton's done in the last 3 years since I was on council, but I think we can do it better. So that's kind of why I'm putting my hat in the race.
All right. Well, let's get into it. What are the three most pressing needs, issues you see Dayton's facing right now?
That's a big first question, but obviously the elephant in the room is traffic and infrastructure around traffic. I think there's some things we can do short term, intermediate term, and long term. With the help of other agencies that really control our destiny with that. I think water and sewer infrastructure is a main thing for us. When I was on council 3 years ago, we had an aging system then, right? Mm-hmm. And so I think for the first time in a long time at that point in 2020, we started to address that and make slow improvements. And it's a long road, but as long as you do a little bit at a time, by the time you get done, you start all over again. Mm-hmm. And I think the third pressing thing would be to figure out a way to work with developers, because growth is coming to our area, whether we like it or not, to get them to, I guess, play ball, so to speak, with the city and become part of the city limits and increase our tax base, but also increase the quality of life for the new developments and our providing water, sewer, and obviously fire, EMS, that kind of thing, police.
As far as infrastructure, one of the things I hear, you hear a lot of, you see on social media, we don't have room for this, we don't have room for that. Unfortunately, and I think you know this, there's lots of room in the Dayton area. Right. There's a whole lot of room in the Dayton area, right? Yeah. But what do you make that what does the city need to do though to make roadway arteries, what and how are we going to afford to pay for that?
That's a great question. I think it comes down to, we've been really good about this, or I say we, the city's been really good about this in the past of finding grant funding. There's billions, I would say, dollars out there of grant money for things like roads, things like traffic improvement. I think you start there with the money aspect of it, but like you said, there is room in Dayton, maybe not on the roads, but there's room, off the roads. And so that's really a question of, they want to come here, the developers, that is, because there's room. And then how do we make the citizens who live here currently and the ones that will be moving here, maintain the quality of life or even make it better? It can't even just be status quo. It's got to actually get better from here. And so I think, some of the short-term projects as far as roadways go, where we control our own destiny. There's so many other entities that really control our destiny, being the railroad and TxDOT, on some of these major highways that we all have converging in Dayton. I think there's some things we can do with our own city streets for a short-term fix that would really help alleviate it, and then build on that for intermediate and long-term.
You've been on council previously, looking to be joined this time as the mayor. What are some of the accomplishments that you're most proud of in the time you were on council previously?
That's a good question. So I think for me, one of my first council meetings, we addressed the road improvement plan, and that was a plan that we had a consultant firm do a feasibility study and rank the roads of most needed improvement to start first versus the least needed. I think that our progress on that, of course, 4 city managers at least in 3 years, really kind of was always turning the focus. But I think beginning on our infrastructure improvements, including roads, was one of my best accomplishments. I think there was one incident where there was going to be a 2-story hotel built next to a school. And the city leaders at the time were telling us that, well, the school's on board with it, but having relationships with people on the school board and the superintendent at the time, I talked to them about it, and they said they had no idea. And so I'm very proud to say that I was the only one that voted against rezoning that plot, because I just thought it wasn't a good idea. And I think that really speaks to my relationships and the people that I know, because a lot of things with the city, you have to work together with other entities, obviously, school being one of them, right? We're not two separate entities. We're all under the same umbrella. So I think that, other than that, just I have it was really important for me to show up every council meeting. I think I missed maybe one council meeting, and even then I think I came late because there was something important going on. But being there and being active in the votes, because it's not always easy, I think that was something I'm most proud of.
All right, if there's something you go back and do over again,
Okay.
what would that be?
At the time, let me start off by saying this. Every decision is not perfect in being on city council and making those tough decisions. And if I had one thing to do over, it would probably be getting into Daynet. And I say that because I think that feasibility wise and in theory, it would have worked really well. We had issues with the company that did the feasibility study, and including people that were not in the city limits of Dayton that couldn't actually get Daynet included in that. Also, we had so many problems in getting it installed that some people in town were not going to use it just on principle. And I get that. I understand that. But at the end of the day, I think the city was able to recoup most of its money on that investment. And it taught me a very valuable lesson that, you have to make the best decision with the information that you're given, right? And sometimes that information is not good information, but it does teach you a lesson. I even tell my kids, making mistakes are good because it teaches you something, right? It teaches you what to do and what to look for the next time, and hopefully you won't make that decision again.
Right. What's going to set you apart from your opponent, the current mayor?
I think it goes back to relationships. I don't care what line of business you're in this world, you're in the relationship business, because people won't do business with you or won't work with you if they don't like you. And I think it really goes back to that. And I think that, having the relationships, being here most of my life, choosing to come back to Dayton because I care about the city is really kind of what sets me apart, and being able to, bring fresh ideas to the table.
Okay. Anything else you think voters need to know?
I don't, not that I can think of, I guess. Again, it goes back to, I will say this, the responsiveness part of it too, being able to be reachable. I think with the relationships I have with people around town, most people would feel comfortable coming up to me on the street and telling me what their problems are. And I don't have a problem with that. I think that's part of the job. That's what you need to do. But I also think that, being responsiveness, I think the city as a whole, not just the mayor or, council position 1 through 4, needs to be more responsive and more, accessible. I think we need to get better at the social media aspect of things, because a lot of people are on there and that's where they get their information. So if you have information to put out there, I think you need to go where the people are looking. So you probably know that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Most. But other than that, I think I hope to earn, my constituents' votes, and I'll do the best job I can.
All right. Again, election day is going to be Saturday, May the 2nd, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Early voting will be April the 20th, Monday, April the 20th, through Tuesday, April the 28th. There will be a close on April the 21st for Santa Cena Day. If you need more information, visit libertycountyelections.com. With that, you want to close this out?
Yeah, sure. I appreciate everybody that's been out supporting me so far. We have an event coming up on April 22nd at Crawfish Supply in Dayton. I'm calling it Community Conversation. Again, people come out, tell me what's going on, what you think we need to improve, because one person obviously can't see everything. So I would rely a lot on that, and hope to earn your vote.
All right. Andy Connor, the candidate for mayor of Dayton. We appreciate it. Thank you for coming on.
Yes, sir.